Good afternoon, and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. I am your host, Blind Prime, and today we will be filming with no music. It will just be me, occasionally a cat, and the White Tiger Megazord, because somebody content blocked the last White Tiger Megazord video, and here's the White Tiger Megazord. So please, if you wouldn't mind, can you share this video more than the previous one so that we can just stick a middle finger to the person that content blocked me for the previous video, and maybe it won't happen again this time. But that was like seriously unnerving. Why? Why was that one? That's just, what did I do? I don't know. Maybe they didn't like my Megazord video. Rawr. Alright, well, in here, More Than Meets the Eye, we of course raise awareness for the blind through alternative means and methods, and this is by describing action figures and from the perspective of a blind person to try and give you the idea of, what we like and what we don't like as blind people. And if you want to really enjoy the show, then close your eyes, lay back on the couch, and give me a listen. Let's begin. So here we have the White Tiger Megazord in its White Tiger mode. Of course, it's got for some reason in the Thunder series, the front of these things have been bigger than the back. It's totally weird. It's like the opposite of hot rods. Like they're I should spin him around, and then that way he'll be a hot rod, driving straight forward. But no, your hand, sir. Okay, so him being a cat has some cat-like things. First off, he's got two front arms that end in some pretty gnarly cat claws. I remember these being chrome. I'm not sure if the chrome wore away on them or not, but there's some pretty nice cat claws. And it comes up here to these big red baubles up on the shoulder pauldrons of this cat. I love that this cat has major shoulder pauldrons. Like, this is one beastly animal. Rawr, rawr. And I'm going to come over to the front of him and talk. He's got a little kitty nose. He's got a little mouth that opens and shuts. It's got two teeth on the top and the bottom, actually molded in there, but they decided to screw it with the rest of the teeth. This is a very, very toothless lion, but I mean, 4 teeth are pretty big, especially whenever you consider that these teeth at the front are like half the size of a human being. So good grief, 4 is enough. We come up here to his eyes. He's got some decent eye. Yeah, he's got eye sculpting, but it's not decent. It's okay eye sculpting. It's hard to tell where the eyes really are by the sculpting of the head. And then we come over here to the ears, which are pulled back a bit, but you can feel like the inner workings of the ear on either side. It's a decent cat face mold. There's a big old cat face. Rawr. And, he doesn't have any sort of mane because it is a tiger. Tigers have no manes. But I don't remember him ever having stripes either. So, this tiger has no stripes. Doesn't mean he can't change them. It just means he doesn't have them. And then we got these weird red baubles on either shoulder, which I've never understood. Maybe they're supposed to collect energy, but they did look cool in the show. So that's probably it. And on top of his head, we've got a nice wind-blown back feature going on here with this molding that ends up being his, his shoulder area. It acts as kind of a V-neck T-shirt design for the actual robot mode. It comes down to a point, like a V-neck T-shirt would, or a V-neck sweater. All right. Further on the back, we've got his head folded into his body, and it just sits there. It's pretty easy to discover with your hands that that's the head folded into the body. It's all right, though. I don't mind it. For the 90s, that was pretty good. And then further on back, we've got nice, thick body with the tail that's actually a sword. So he's got a kitty sword tail, which you can move around in its position. And to get different poses for the tail. The tail is very posable, so long as you get it in one of its 4 positions. So each one of those positions, it's very posable in. You see what I did there? Yeah. All right. Oh, let's talk about his transformation now, and we'll talk about his robot mode. Take out his sword, and remember, if you want to watch and learn how to transform him yourself, please tune in to the Blind Builds episode that I did previously on this channel on last Saturday. So we're just going to get this guy into his mode. And this is easy for me because I had this guy growing up and I transformed him 1,000 times just playing around with all the other things. He always came in to save the day because that's what the White Tiger Zord does. He saves the day. Now we have him in his robot mode. Let me go ahead and give him his Kiba sword. Come on, Kiba sword. Get in there. Yeah, Kiba sword. All right. That's all he's got. Robot mode. Of course, you open up the jaws for the lion. I mean the tiger, to reveal the this big bobble thing in the middle that had an LED light behind it to make it go red. And you come up to the V-neck sweater that he's got going on here, and this I remember being gold going down the sides, which is really cool. I love the fact, the white, black, and gold motif of the White Ranger was pretty cool. And we come over here to the face. The face has got some decent face sculpt. It's it neither shines nor diminishes in the sense of like this figure's overall thing. It's also got a little spot on top of his head for you to put the little White Ranger that this came with, so that you could understand scaling. And then over here at the very front of this big thing, we have a little spot where he could fit as well. They had a few spots. That's kind of neat. I like the fact that you could put the Rangers in little spots on the Zords. It's just sad that we don't have any of the Rangers to showcase. The arms for articulation move up and down in a 360-degree post way. You can just spin it, and that's just about it. Because of transformation, he can look up, and he can do nothing else. His legs don't do anything else. He has no articulation except those rotating arms, and that's a bit sad. Now, if you spun his his arm, you could get the elbow, but then because the hand isn't on a joint that spins, this means that you'd be holding your sword sideways, like that guy from One Piece with the sword in his mouth. And that's basically it for this guy. Not much really to describe here. It's a pretty bland robot mode, except for this giant white tiger face on the front and all this cool non-detail it's got going on. Because really, after the tiger face, there's just not much molded and sculpted detail on this guy. They went really lax with it, and I'm a little upset by it, but I do appreciate that down here on the feet area you do have some vent moldings on the sides, and on the back, that would be his back, there is some vent molding, but that's it. And now let's get him set up for his merger into his Megazord form. And then we'll talk about that and end up in the episode. So let's go ahead and start that process now. Raise up that arm. There we go. And hey now. All right. That's got to click up once. Maybe twice. Not doing it right. Twice. Yep. Twice. Boom. Right there. Then this one comes up, and that goes in, and that's going to lock back down to keep them in place. And we're going to set this down on his back right there. Man, it's fun working with this old stuff. Going through old childhood memories and things. It's like traveling down an old path. You know the path pretty well, but there's some new and interesting twists and turns in the paths that you didn't expect, or you just didn't remember from being a child. And so it's cool to go back over these things and revisit those times to just, realize how awesome you were sometimes as a kid, especially for figuring all this stuff out. Now we gotta make sure we thread that right. There we go. And now we're gonna go ahead and make sure this one gets threaded right. Hey, thread correctly. Thread correctly. Thread correctly. You need to thread. You need to thread correctly. Thread. You. There you go. Yeah. Now you got it. Okay. And then we're going to break apart the the black Zord. And now, I always thought this guy was one of the cooler Zords because of the way it is. But I'm realizing now he is kind of a cooler Zord, but also he has his problems. And I'm about to talk about those. Okay, that goes forwards, and this is going to go spread out. And see, all right, since I'm doing this again, I can explain one step to you guys that I forgot to explain in the blind builds episode. With the chest plates of the Megazord, the black lion chest piece, you want to fold it out like you're attaching it to the red Dragon Zord, but instead you're going to come to the back of the white Tiger Zord here, and you're going to make sure you threaded it correctly. And threading is always the problem with this thing. Everything's got to get thread. All right, and then it's just going to pop into place like that, and that's going to keep on the back. And I forgot to mention that in that episode. And here we go. Let's go ahead and change the perspective a little bit before we talk about this guy. Where's the sword? There's the sword. Okay, you can step forward now. Hey, don't fall. Just stand there. All right, we're moving the face plate. Set that off to the side. Okay, pull you back. Then we're going to come over here. I'm going to grab... Oh, here you are. I'm grabbing you. Let's see. All right. Oh, I don't need to do anything. It's already back all the way. Cool. I already took care of that step earlier. Neat. Look at me. I think ahead. Yay. Okay, so let's talk about this guy. Pros and cons. Cons. He has no maneuverability except in his arms. But you don't even want to move these too much because the black Zord just kind of hangs on there very lightly. Other cons are that you don't utilize the entire team. The pink Zord is missing from this. She's supposed to fit on his arm, but I haven't figured out how to make it happen correctly. It's just this guy's too big, and he only manages to take in 3. And even so, the chest piece for the main Megazord's on his back, which doesn't really, add anything to it. It's just, it is kind of annoying that you can't utilize everything in this Zord. It's just a stacking job. Nothing's really changed when it comes to posability. You do have a nice look to it. It's definitely weighty. It's not going anywhere. And, all right, I need to push that down. Oh, no, I can't. Okay, so that's as far as it goes. The head sculpt, the mask that flips over is pretty cool. But for the most part, yeah, that's this guy. And I wonder if he looks better than he feels in this mode, but this mode just feels shoddy. You would think it's an awesome thing, and when I was a kid, this was the coolest combination of Zords ever. But as an adult looking over this toy, I'm going, needed work. But for the most part, this is really nice. It's just that these shoulder pauldrons are way too loose, and they weird me out. The legs are perfect, though. And then the Pink Ranger doesn't even fit. So, yeah, it's odd. It's an odd thing, but there it is. And, this is a More Than Meets the Eye episode. Again, sorry if anyone's confused by the fact that this is a new White Tiger Megazord video. The old one got content blocked, and instead of dealing with that, I'm just going to delete the video and post this one. So, until next Prime, tomorrow we will talk about the Perceptor's Microscope and Perceptor's Artillery Tank modes. Tune in then. Bye-bye for now.